Okay, guys, hello. This is Gaston from Healthcare Engineering Private Limited. I would like to present you today a general idea about 3D bioprinting of tissues and organs. So, there are so many modern technologies which are being applied in the healthcare industry. Among them, one of the best technology, it is already in the market, but still there are so many kind of innovations are ongoing. And we believe that we will be utilizing this technology in our day-to-day life in near future. So I by myself, I'm the founder of Healthcare Engineering Private Limited. I would like to present you these kind of modern technologies with a new series where I'm planning to create, so that you can learn. Those who are very enthusiastic about these new technologies will be able to follow our channel, especially this playlist where you can learn day by day the new technologies which are being practiced and which are going to be practiced in the healthcare industry. So it is going to be very interesting, guys. So stay tuned with us so that you can learn new things. If you are very much interested like me, so you can follow our channel and you can learn with us, so that you can upgrade yourself to enhance yourself for the nearby future. Okay. So today, as I told you, I'm just going to talk about these kind of technology. Especially today we are focusing on 3D bioprinting of tissue and organs. This is not going to be a detailed presentation. This is going to be a summary of the presentation where we can finish it up within 10 to 15 minutes. If you really wish to have a detailed presentation, a detailed discussion about this technology, please drop some messages or in the discussions, so that we know that you are very much interested. So we will be creating another slideshow where we will discuss and where we will teach you, where I will show you a much detailed manner about this technology, right? So I by myself, as I told already, I'm a visiting biomedical engineer. Basically, I'm a biomedical engineer, so I'm visiting multiple hospitals in order to provide my service. Apart from that, I own my own company where we provide many types of healthcare and technology related courses, studies, skill upgradations and all. So please follow us, or please drop a text to our official WhatsApps in order to get to know more about us, or in order to get our helps. Okay, guys, cheers. Let's jump through this wonderful technology. So first of all, you know the technology what we are going to learn. I would like to give you a brief introduction about this technology, right? So definition. Let's see the definition. What do you mean by 3D bioprinting and the basic concept about it, right? So 3D bioprinting is an advanced manufacturing technique that uses 3D printing technology to create complex biological structures, including tissues and organs, layer by layer. So guys, I believe as long as you guys are in the industry, or maybe you are still in the modern era, you know the printers, how they are getting printing papers and all, right? So especially nowadays you may see about the 3D printings of small kind of 3D shapes, for example teacups, souvenirs and all, right? So the 3D printing is existing. So the technology now I'm going to talk about is 3D bioprinting, where we are going to print the organs, right? So the things whatever we are having so far in our hands, the 3D printed materials, especially a souvenir, a cup, some kind of a box or something like that. So similarly, we are going to have our own organs, human organs in our hands by using this technology, right? So that's how I'm going to give you the idea about this technology, right? So whenever, maybe if you have any possibilities to look at how the 3D models, the 3D printers are printing the structure, it is printing layer by layer, right? So it is not showing a magic show. It is just suddenly it close something and it suddenly show the entire thing, right? So you can see layer by layer, structure by structure, it constructs the 3D model whatever we prefer, whatever we provide the order, right? Similarly, this is how the organs are going to be made in front of our own eyes, right? So what do you mean by the process, the procedure, how these things are take place is, the process involves the precise deposition of bioinks. So I'll be teaching you about bioinks in later slides, right? Which are materials made of living cells and the other biocompatible substances to create structures that mimic the natural properties and functions of biological tissues. So you guys know, in order to build some kind of a 3D model, or for example in order to build a house, you need some certain fundamental structures in order to construct, right? So these structures in our case, in this 3D bioprinting case, is bio ink and biocompatible substances. Especially you, since you guys are having the bio science background, you may know the scaffolds, right? So scaffold is a structure where we are going to place our living cells on the structure, and we are allowing the stock cells to grow to become a tissue, and then we are going to place it in the human body itself, right? In vitro methods, we develop this outside the cells, and we just plant it inside the, we just place it inside the human body, right? So this is how, this is what you have, I believe that you have learned about the tissue engineering stuffs and all, right? So we are going to touch some tissue engineering, because without tissue engineering, the 3D bioprinting cannot exist, right? Because using the tissue engineering knowledge, you have to prepare the biomaterials and biocompatible substances, and then you put them as the primary resource, where we call bio ink, right? So the bio ink is the basic structure, the basic fundamental, the vital thing where the printer is going to print. By using the bio ink, it is going to print the relevant organ, whatever we prefer, right? So you can see this quickly, a nice diagram where you can see how the biology, the medical and the engineering field combinedly join together in order to create an artificial organ, right? Right, before getting too much technically, let's have some history, right? So how this concept got developed and all, right? So you can see the concept was developed not maybe not too early, right? But it was developed in 1980s, right? Then you can see there are so many kind of innovations took place once in a while from 1980s, and now we are able to print our own skills, so we call artificial skins for our own skin grafting things and all, right? So this is how a small recap about the history. We don't need to touch much deeper what are the things took place and all, right? So since it's a summarized presentation, you can get the exact idea from which year to which year we are currently now we are in, and what was the fundamental things taken place took place in the 31st years, right? Right. Now we are going to talk about some major concepts of this technology. The need for 3D bioprinting. Why do we need these 3D bioprinters, guys, right? Because the major thing we need this type of technologies in the healthcare industry is there are so many gaps in the medical field, right? So for example, if you want to become a scientist, or in the other hand, if you want to become an engineer, you have to find out a problem where you will be able to give a solution to that. Otherwise your profession is not, right? You have to find a problem, and then you have to use your own skills to provide the solution for that problem. So that's how we work as an engineer or as a scientist, right? So so having said that, having that concept in our mind, let's focus on this. Why do we need these 3D bioprinters, right? Because there should be a problem. Challenges in the traditional organ transplantation is the major problem we are having here in the industry, right? Organ transplantation, in worst cases we have to recommend for organ transplantations, right? Even though the technology is developed, and we are having very sophisticated and well safe life, but in some worst cases, if we met a very huge accident, we need to go for an organ transplantation. If our internal organs failed, we have to go for organ transplantation, right? So in order to provide a solution for those kind of very worst cases, we have to use these kind of bioprinting technology, right? So what are the things we have here in traditional organ transplantation failure? Shortage of donor organs. We can't get whatever we need, and we don't have enough donors, even especially in our countries, or even though if you go for the developed countries, you can't pay the money and you can't get the organ whatever you want within a day or something. You have to be in the waiting queue, and then you have to meet with a suitable honor. And even though if you meet your donor, the internal stuffs, all the blood groups, all the tissues, all the foreign body stuffs, you know these stuffs, right? Must match in order to transplant the organ, somebody's a third person's organ, into our body. And after that, we have to be very careful, because we have to make sure that our body must accept this one as its own. Otherwise, if it rejects, it is going to treat as a third person, and it is going to treat as a foreign body, where it is going to secrete unnecessary things, and we are going to face a lot of problems, right? So these are the main problems why we need these technologies in order to make our own organs, right? So shortage of donor organs, risk of own organ rejections, a long waiting list are the major problems we are having these type of issues in the day-to-day life, right? So what's the advantages of 3D bioprinting? What are the solutions it can provide for these kind of problems? So customization of tissues and organs. So we can customize our own tissues and organs, right? So as per our need, as per our type, we can provide the solutions and the organ transplantation needs and all, right? Reduce risk of rejections, because why? We know what are our own organ type, we know what our own type, right? So based on that, we take the cells, we cultured it, we make the bioinks, and then we put the biomaterials, and then how we create the organs. So we are very sure and we are very confident that these type of organs won't get rejected, because it is our own, right? Sometimes we may use our own stem cells to create these extra organs too, right? Potential for on-demand printing, right? So on-demand printing, when it is needed, we will be able to do this, right? Right, now let's think technically how this printer works, right? So I'm not going to touch you from the engineer's perspective. I'm just going to give you a much easier and a much summarized way for your biomedical science courses, right? Because you have to know these stuffs, because since you are also working in the industry, you must familiar with these types of technologies, and you must know that these types of technologies are existing, where you can recommend someone in order to provide some solutions for these problems as well, right? So let's see basic principles of this technology. So as I told you, use of biolinks and layer by layer constructions. So what do you mean by bioinks and biomaterials? Use of bioinks and biomaterials, right? So what do you mean by bioink is, so in order to build up a 3D structure, for example, if you want to build up a house, you need cement, blocks, concrete blocks, iron bars, and there are so many stuffs, other stuffs as well, right? So these are the important things, right? So in order to make a cell, in order to make a tissue, you need a scaffold where you have to graft all these cells, and you have to make sure that what are the need for these type of creations, and as per the need, you have to get your suitable cells. For example, if you want to make a 3D printing of a liver cell, a liver, you have to get the liver cells, right? So if you want to get the muscle cells, and if you can't make a liver cell, right? So you have to get the exact cells in order to make an organ, in order to make your recommended, your necessary organ, right? So bioinks is nothing, it is just a pool of cells where all the cells are being survived or being collected inside a biomaterial. So what do you mean by biomaterial? Biomaterial is an environment, is an environment we created for these biocells in order to survive, right? So we have a well safe environment for these kind of collected and cultured bio cells, so that it can develop into a tissue and then an organ, right? So layer by layer constructions, as I told you, technically we can't do any magic shows. It should be constructed layer by layer. How does a house was built, right? It should be constructed layer by layer. First layer from the ground, and then the above, and the above one is right, like beyond that, right? Similarly, layer by layer constructions of can be done, right? So whenever you have chances, as I told you, whenever you have chances, you may have seen how a 3D shape, a 3D sphere, or 3D model was constructed. The same technique was applied in order to make an organ. Key components, bioprinters are very important, bioinks along with biomaterials, and cell sources. What are the cell sources you are requiring for? So in order to make an artificial heart, you have to have your heart muscle cells, right? So types of bioinks, hybrid. So how many types of bioinks we have? Hybrid materials, synthetic polymers, and natural polymers. So synthetic polymers are the polymers we use. We created those kind of polymers in the lab, right? So in the lab, it is kind of a non-natural, or maybe in the other hand we can say artificial polymers, right? So polymers are the things where we have these kind of bio inks, right? So we have the cells along with these bio inks, so that we use that ink to print the material, to print the necessary organs, right? Natural polymers, you know, natural polymers are directly from our tissues, collagen, gelatin, and all, right? Hybrid materials, the combination of natural and artificial materials. Criteria for bioinks. So let's say in order to make a bioink, what are the concepts we should make sure that they are applicable for us is biocompatibility. What do you mean by biocompatibility? It should cooperate with our internal organs and internal tissues and internal environment. Biodegradability, once we plant that in our organ, it should adapt to the environment, and it should be able to dissolve. If we have any kind of a synthetic polymer, it should be adapted and it should be able to dissolve inside our body without making any harm to the internal organs or internal structures. For example, it cannot be a carcinogenic, it cannot make any cancer cells, right? It cannot be treated as a foreign body, right? So mechanical properties. So what do you mean by mechanical properties? For example, if you are creating a cartilage for our knee joint, it should be able to absorb the weight whatever we pressure, similar to the natural cartilage we have in our own body, and it should be adapt to the external environment and internal environment as per the place where it is placed, right? So if it cannot be adapt, we can't place it inside the human body, and we can't consider that one as a biomechanical property, and we can't make sure that it is not suitable for the clinical practices. Right now, let's see a couple of applications of 3D printing in the real world. So in tissue engineering side, we use this for skin grafting. For those who had some issues, also who affected their skins, you can use this one for skin grafting. Bone and cartilage repair, as I told you, bone and cartilage repair, we can use these kind of things for repairing our bones and cartilages. Organ printing, kidney, liver, heart, these are ongoing practices, right? So we haven't heard that kidney, liver, heart they are fully printed, but a certain part or certain valves from that particular organ is printed. But the other the scientists they are very keen to create these kind of entire organ for this kind of 3D printing technology, right? Drug testing and development. Personalized medicine. What do you mean by personalized medicine? You know, a certain medicine can be okay for a person, and the other one he may feel some kind of allergic reactions, right? So we have to test the certain the person's body type and his internal environments and his adaptability for the medicines, and then as per it we can create the organ whatever which will be able to adapt to its environment, and which cannot be a harmful, or which cannot trigger any kind of allergic reactions, and it should adapt, it should be okay, it should be cooperate with these patients and all, right? Disease modeling means as per the concept, as per the how the disease is being created inside the patient. So there are so many proteins inside us, right? So the protein reactions cause some certain kind of diseases and all. So as per that, we can create how we can allow, or how we are not allowing, in order to make any diseases, right? So organ regeneration, bone tissue engineering, drug development, skin tissue engineering, and medical devices. Even we can use these kind of 3D bioprinting technology to create some medical devices which will be able to carry out with along with the patients, right? So lightweighted, and it should adapt with the patients and all, right? For example, the artificial organs which you can implant inside you, right? For example, the batteries where they put inside the heart, right? So because we have some issues with our heart where the SA node is pumping the electricity is not properly well, or if you can make that, so now so far we have that extra batteries which are having some certain issues, right? We can place it, but it should have some certain issues, because it will be treated as a foreign body, and it has maybe I think around 10 years of expiry, right? After 10 years it will get expired, right? So considering these kind of things, we can use our own technology to make the biomedical devices. So let's see some case studies, how the things are going on, how the scientific world is applying these things inside, and how inside the real world, how what are the modern things are being applied in this, right? So you can see at the right hand side, there are so many things which are being developed along with the tissue engineering and 3D bioprinting technology, right? So from the skin graft, we are using the grafted skins for multiple purposes in order to cure the burnt wounds, right? Cornea grafts and all, right? So the cut off hands can be collected and can be joined together. Face reconstructions, kidney, liver, heart, bone, right? And even for, especially for dental purposes, we are using these kind of technologies and all, right? So there are so many research papers. I have studied a couple of research papers on this, so I'm presenting it to you. If you are really interested to dig deeper how these technologies are being applied, and how the organs, so far what are the organs that are fully printed, and how they are applied, and if you want to really if you want to really dig deeper and make sure how the things are combined together, right? So you can quickly go through these papers. All the links are provided in the reference sections in the presentation. You can get to know very well, and you can develop your knowledge as well, right? Whatever the technology we have, guys, but even though we are working in the healthcare industry, and our main aim is providing the best services for the patients, even though if we are using a modern technology, there will be some side effects and limitations, right? There will be two sides, right? There will be some side effects, also there will be some limitations. So limitations are the trigger to us as an engineers. Triggers are the limitations, are the facts which pushes us to go further, because we have to go further beyond the limitations, right? We have to push the limitations, right? So that we think very hard how to go further, right? So we use more the other technologies to break this boundary, and in order to go there. Again, once we invent that, again there will be some limitations, again we think hard and we come up with some solutions to go further. So that's how we find the limitations in each and every technology, and we push ourselves to go further to provide better services for all the patients in the healthcare world, right? So technical challenges, vascularization, because why vascularization is we are going to dealing with the vascular, right? We are going to with the nerves. Its nerve is different from the vasculars. So vascules, so where they are the internal pipes which brings and carries the blood from heart to the other organs, right? So in order to create the vascularizations, still we are struggling to create the exact pattern of the vascularization, because why? The vasculars are having its unique capabilities, right? So shrinking, pumping towards, pumping forward, and not allowing the pumped blood into come back, right? So we are having some challenges in the vascularizations area. Complexity of organ structures. So even though we are making these things, still we are thinking very hard. We are not satisfied with the studies what we have did so far, because we haven't fully understood all the internal structures and all the things 100%, right? Still we are learning on the things what we believe that we have completely finished. Ethical and regulatory issues, of course, since we are dealing with the human and we are working with the living organisms, we are bound with some ethical and regulatory issues. Approval process is very hard to go further and doing researches. So far we are unable to carry out the experiments on the human on humans, right? So we are carrying out in the mices, but mices, the reason why we are using the mices are the internal structure and the organs are very similar to human. That's why we are using mices and monkeys, but still we are not satisfied the results with the mices. We have to check with the humans, but the regulatory is not approving, right? Ethical consideration in bioprinting, because why? We are making a living organ. So if the technology goes like this, we will be able to make a living creature. Maybe we can make a baby from the living tissues and all, right? So where the big question is going to be back, are we going to become a god, right? Because why? The life can be created, life can be destructed by God himself. But again, these are very questionable and these are very debatable concepts. So that's why we are having many issues in these ethical considerations, and we are still allowed to create with a certain tissue, not the entire organ, or not with living organisms, right? So what's the future of this technology is advancements, right? So innovation in bioprinting methods, we are having many types of methods, but once we start talking about that, it will be too technical from the engineer's perspective. But let's say there will be certain, because there are certain types of printers: inkjet, Doppler, dot matrix, right? So similarly, there are so many types, so many styles of printing methods. So there will be so much efficient method will be handled in the nearby future to print the organs. Integration with other technologies, such as nowadays AI is capturing our market, right? AI is capturing and IoT stuff is capturing our lives, right? So having said that, we are combining these kind of modern technologies inside this current technology to enhance the output. Potential importance of healthcare, future applications and possibilities. What do you mean by future applications and possibilities? Is we are trying our boundaries, we are pushing our limitations to extend our possibilities, what we can use these technologies, right? Long-term goals and visions, the scientists are having long-term goals and visions in order to push up the ethical boundaries and the limitations in order to provide a best solution for these kind of organ donors and organ receivers and all, right? So a very important thing, the approved one is in the developed countries. Now they are okay to have in the food industry, we need food, right? So we are slaughtering the animals, we are slaughtering the cattle in order to have our own meat needs, right? So now they are thinking, in order to stop that what do you mean by killing the animals for our own tastes, right? So they are going to cut these kind of concepts, and they are going to make the meat in the petri dishes, right? So in the lab, they are going to make the petri dishes using the 3D bioprinting. They are going to make the meat for our need where we can consume, right? Again, there are so many debates are going on whether they consumable, is it okay to consume, right? So there are so many things, but I'm saying that these are the nearby future, because vegan concept is getting developed sidewise. In the other side, we are using the meat, right? So developing these things in the labs so that they can stop killing the animals, or using the natural resources for our own tastes, for our own foods, right? So we are going to create our own foods as per our needs and all, right? Okay guys, so this is just a quick recap about this technology. I'll be talking many technologies like this in a very quick way, because my intention is letting you know that these types of technologies are existing and giving you a short and quick idea about the technology, right? That's my intention. But please let me know if you want to learn more about any certain type of technologies. Please provide the comments in the description box, in the following comment boxes, so that I will know that you are very much interested in this technology, so that I will study more about this technology, and I'll definitely let you know about an in-depth knowledge about this technology, right? Okay guys, thank you so much. I think it is enough for us to having these discussions. So thank you so much for your time. Let's stay tuned with us, and I want to remind you again, please stay tuned, follow our channel, especially follow this playlist if you are very much interested to learn modern technologies, especially in the healthcare engineering field, right? So thank you guys for your time. Stay tuned, let's learn together. Cheers and have a wonderful day.